Hey everyone, my name is Mega, and I'm from a small town near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Completed my undergrad at Penn State University in nutritional sciences, and it is my second semester in graduate school here at Eastern, studying nutrition and dietetics. I initially got into nutrition and dietetics because in school I've always loved the science subject, especially bio and the art of cooking. I've known how to cook since I was age of 8, and I've always loved mixing up recipes and um, making my own creations, basically. Specifically in high school, when my dad had type 2 diabetes, he wasn't really taking care of it that well. So I sort of started stepping in and researching recipes that fit his combination and started learning how to make them, and really taught him how to monitor his carbs intake and sugar intake. During that whole process, by the time I was a senior, I kind of realized that I wanted to pursue nutrition and dietetics. Um, and after graduation, my goal is to branch out towards the outpatient field, such as education and counseling. So when I think of leadership, the characteristics that come in mind would be open-minded, they're risk takers, considerate, and very positive towards others. I lumped open-minded and considerate together because I think that leaders should listen and consider new ideas from others, and so that way they can implement that idea into their own work. That humility, I feel like it's really important when you're in a leadership role, because ideas can come from anywhere. I mean, you're not the only one with good ideas. And I believe the leaderships are made so that they can just inspire change by forging their own path, and they just think more of the future. What can be done in the future? How can we use our current technology and modern tools, basically, to further improve ourselves, rather than just following traditional goals. So, an example that I was thinking of in my head would be when I was doing an internship at an extension office 2 summers ago. My preceptor was newly hired a year before I joined, and she changed the company drastically in a very short time when I was working at the extension. So basically, the curriculum was very outdated, and the morale was very low with employees. She was very unhappy with the traditional curriculum and lesson plan, so she took a risk and decided to change a lot of it. And she did it by really listening to the employees, because the employees were working longer than she was, so she felt like they would have a better idea of what their audience is looking for and what is doable with the tools that they are provided. She would go and talk to a lot of the employees, just as person to person. She really had that humility to really listen and use their ideas. And not only she implemented them in their curriculum and lesson plans and everything, she did it also in their in-service as well. She really brought up new trends that are important for the employees to be well aware of. When I was there, she brought up cultural diversity and a lot of mental illness trends to really have the dietitians and the educators really well informed of what's going on around our society, compared to how it was before, where they were still teaching a lot of the employees a lot of the outdated issues. So although I'm very comfortable being a follower, if I really believe that another person's ideas are really good in principles, and I'm not that well knowledgeable about it, I'm perfectly fine just taking a seat back and being the follower and taking roles in there. But I do prefer leadership roles more, especially if I'm very passionate about that specific field. Growing up, I've never been the type to follow the trend of society. I've always persistently followed my own ideas and my own goals, and I've always just tried to set myself apart from others, and basically didn't really crave for other people's approvals. I always just did my own thing. And even though growing up I still sometimes feel very uncomfortable with public speaking, I feel like there's a lot of skills that leaderships have that are not always involved with public speaking, and even though there are most leaders that are very comfortable with public speaking, for me, I feel like regardless, when it's required, I know I would never hesitate to voice my opinions on subjects that really matter to me or that I believe really strong, and I'm not afraid to ask questions and to know more about certain topics that I'm not aware of. My previous experience this past summer, when I worked as a counselor at a kids camp for kids aged 8 to 12, it really helped me put a lot of those leadership qualities because I got to talk to the kids, learn more about what they can do, what are their skills, and try to implement that and try to teach them basic knife skills based on their previous experience. So I wasn't teaching the same thing over and over, whatever they already knew. And I believe that humility and risk-taking qualities, especially since with kids camp, it's a risk trying to teach young kids about like basic cooking skills. You have to be pretty ambitious to really take on that role of helping and teach 40 kids over the summer. I feel those qualities would be really important with leadership. I know I have a lot of room of improvement to work on with my leadership skills, but hopefully in the future I want to be more comfortable, even more comfortable actually, with more leadership skills in my career in the future. Thank you.